सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः। प्रार्थनया प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे, गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे। न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः, मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो। गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे, गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे। न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः, मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो। गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे, गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे। न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः, मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो. Today we are going to have another session of one round of some background knowledge about a pratyaya. Okay. Though the lesson says ktavatu and kta pratyayas, I am going to give you background of the kta pratyaya right now. Let us see if we have time, we will cover ktavatu also. So today will not be a discussion session with the what do you call the exercises and all. We are going to work with the pratyaya knowledge, okay, or everything about pratyaya. Now this is a suffix, okay. We have already learnt about the kridanta suffixes previously. We are already aware of the background of them. So these are the ones which will make pratipadikas, okay. Like when we did the tumun and other one, the ktwa, liyap, etc. Then we had discussed that they make avyayas. Today we are learning about those which make pratipadikas, okay. So let's go for that knowledge. Let us do it by the way of discussion only. You can raise hands, whoever wants to say anything about these pratyayas. Okay, afterwards I will give you a stepwise and a systematic inputs of which I have prepared. So before that, you can tell me if you know anything about kta and ktavatu. But firstly, kta pratyaya. What do you understand by kta pratyaya? Lata Bhagini, you can answer.
Namaste, Bhagini. Kta pratyaya is a truth pratyaya, krudant pratyaya. Kta, when we add it to the dhatu, it becomes a krudanta, and it takes all the three lingas, Purusha, Pullinga, Strilinga, and Napumsakalinga. Ktaha, it becomes, and in kta, that ka part goes away.
Correct.
It becomes, so only ta remains. So in Pullinga, taha, we say, like gam dhatu, if we take as an example, gataha in Pullinga, gata in Strilinga, gatam in Napumsakalinga, and they become pratipadikas, and gataha will run like Rama Shabda, gata will run like Sita Shabda or Rama Shabda, and gatam will run like Phalam Shabda or Gnanam Shabda.
Right. Very nice.
Bhuta Krudanta, this is called Bhuta Krudanta because it denotes past tense, and this is usually used in Karmani Prayoga.
Okay.
Okay. Correct, is it?
Correct.
Dhanyavada, Bhagini.
Shubham, Samyak Uttam. Anybody else? Any more inputs? So my question, okay, somebody else can raise the hand. Is it only ta that we see it? Gata. Is it only ta form? Yeah, Abhijit ji, please answer.
Sometimes it ends in na form.
Yes.
For example, if you have chid, it doesn't end in chitta, it becomes chinna.
So what more forms are available?
So there are a few forms. I don't know all of them, but definitely the with a ending and na with a ending are definitely the most common.
Yes, very good, correct. Any more inputs from anyone? Okay, somebody raised hand. Oh, I don't see the raised hand, but it says. Okay, please raise hand now. Fine. So let me go ahead. If you have no more inputs, I'll just try to tell from my side. So the ka drops off, as Bhagini has told already, from the kta, which has anupurvi of this kind, and this is this is how it's written. So minus ka, it will be like ta will be only this portion will remain. Then what comes out when this pratyaya is this? It's basically a pratyaya. It's basically a suffix which is added to shabdas. No, it is added to dhatus. Okay, this is very important point. It is added to dhatus, not shabdas. But it makes shabdas, not dhatus. I mean, not kriyas. So until now, we have seen something making tingantas, but we have discussed in the Tumun Tualyap lesson that these are added to dhatus, but what comes out are shabdas. Okay, that's why they are different from the tingantas. Okay, so they are added to first dhatus. Then the Pratipadika is Akarantam, as Bhagini has already told, Ramavat, Ramavat, and then Halavat. Okay. So in the three lingas, it is there. So if three lingas is there, then what is going to happen? We will come to the next step. So there are lingas, three lingas. So if one linga is there, if Pratipadikam has formed, then Vachana is there, then Vibhakti is there. Linga, Vachana, Vibhakti is come out. So what comes out? That 7 plus 1 into 3 rupas come out. So how many forms totally? That is, how many? You can tell. So 24 plus 24 plus 24. Okay, so many forms are there. Then, I mean, actually there is a Sambodhana for this. Okay, we cannot say there is no Sambodhana. There is a Sambodhana also. That's why 7 plus 1. Into 3 lingas, into 3 vachanas. Okay. So basically, it's a Bhutakala Kriya. Okay. And you know, it also replaces Kriya. When there is no Kridanta, no Tinganta in the sentence, no Kriya Pada, no other Kriya Pada in the sentence, then this is going to be representing a Kriya also. That is one more important point. Okay. So in the sentence, it plays a role. It is not just a Shabda. You should not mistake it for just a Shabda, but it's a Shabda that denotes a Kriya, which has some role to play in the form of a Kriya. Okay. Then this is also used in Karmavachya and Bhavavachya. Okay. So both of them, Karmani and Bhavavachya. So in Bhavavachya, it is only like one form like that. Akarmaka Kriyas also have it, but they have it in the kind of Kartari usage. Okay. So in English, it's called past passive participle. So pa, the P. Okay, I used to enjoy this the apte composition, as I have already told you. Like I have like grown up with those books, and apte has it in the italic. You know, whenever this comes, he puts in the italic P. I used to like that. The formation of those letters in the print would be very like captivating for me. I would like this term past passive participle. Okay, so it's the kta pratyaya, right? Then for the it capable dhatus, it is an it capable pratyaya. Okay, it is an it capable pratyaya. And you know, dhatus don't take ganas in this. That is one more thing. Okay, dhatus are no more considered for their ganas, like whatever is there, chid dhatu is there. Chid is from, as Bhrata has put, chid is from which gana? Can anybody tell which gana is it? I know that you know the answer, but still it is this thing that I ask. Who is telling? Praveerji, please boliye.
Chi chinoti, Panchama Gana.
No, not chi. Chid, I asked.
Chit.
Chid. Okay, one clue I will give. The first form is chinati.
Chinati, okay.
Nainam chindanti shastrani. It's Rudhadi.
Nakara comes in between the two varnas of the dhatu.
Yes.
Is it
Saptama gana.
so?
Rudhadi.
I'm not seventh gana, is it? I'm sorry. Okay.
Num agama. Okay, so that's
Oh,
why.
no. Okay. Dhanyavad.
It is only mattering as far as the ti is concerned, but it is no more valid. The ganas are no more valid when we are considering the kridantas. Okay, so it goes separately, right? So when the gana dhatu ganas are not considered, then there is another kind of vibhaga that comes to play. Okay, in that there is an idagama concept. The it comes, the e is something we learned in the bhavishyat. We come across in the bhavishyat. Okay, it's very like famous in that, like bhu will become bhavishyati, isn't it? But it does not mean that in kta pratyaya also bhu will be it capable, it incapable. So this is the criteria regarding the kta pratyaya. The bhu dhatu is not it capable. Okay, so like pat dhatu is there, pat plus ta will become patita. So the e has come in between. And when the anit is something that doesn't take it, that is ikara, it doesn't have ikara, then it's called anit. So directly the ta comes and added to the dhatu, krita. Okay, right. Next. So the dhatu does not intake the guna or vriddhi. Okay, so there is no guna or vriddhi of dhatu that you observe here. Kru does not become kar or kar. Okay, so it's just because of the ka has dropped off from the pratyaya. You can see, so these pratyayas have twofold names, as I have already mentioned to you in the tumun and twalyap case, that it comes with a package. The package is opened, the green boxes, the blue boxes, the pink boxes, etc. The wrapper is opened and the content is taken out. The wrapper, the outside box, everything removed. And inside the package, what comes out, we take and use it. But still we know this pink box is for so and so people, blue box is for so and so people, green box is for so and so. So that information is contained through the colors. In the same way, the sounds in Bhasha has sounds. Okay, Bhasha doesn't have colors. Panini did not color things in Ashtadhyay. He said, pink color things will mean this, blue color things. How beautiful it would be if somebody would do that for all the sutras, for all the rupas, make it picturesque. Okay. So this kta pratyaya, the ka sound, we hear the ka is dropped off. So that's why that is enabling the no guna, no vriddhi. Okay, no guna, no vriddhi is the ka. Ka has zindabad, zindabad. This is no guna. Guna, murdabad. Vriddhi, murdabad, he says. Ka doesn't like all this. He wants to be like non-vriddhi, non-guna. Okay, whatever it is, I'll take it naturally, the dhatu, he says. So the kta pratyaya has nothing to do with gunas. Don't worry. Okay, it will be like free of it. Then there are a lot of sandhi karyas. What is a sandhi karya? Can anybody guess and explain this point? What am I speaking about when I say sandhi karyas? Anyone?
Internal sandhi.
Yes, what kind of? Can you give example or explain the point?
So, chindati becomes, chid becomes chind, and then instead of taking ta, that ta becomes na, and the drops off, so it becomes chinna.
Exactly. So what is sandhi happening in between two areas? Can you summarize your point? The example you have given, can you tell the precept?
Can I tell the what? The
Precept. I mean, what you gave example, what is the precept of that?
what do you mean by?
It's happening between two things. What are those two things?
So this is a sandhi between the root of the dhatu and the opened pratyaya.
Yeah, that is what. Not root of the dhatu. Dhatu is dhatu. Okay. Dhatu will have its sanyas, of course. That we generally don't consider them because pratyas are introduced with the its sanyas, but dhatus are dropped off. So we get the mula dhatu. So just take it and we combine it with the pratyaya. Very nice. Very well put. Very nice. Well explained. So this is the sandhi. So can somebody guess what kind of sandhi points are going to come? Any guesses?
Vyanjana sandhi bhavati va?
Vyanjana sandhi eva bhavati. Yes, correct.
Shutva sandhi.
Explain with an example.
Ta shutva sandhi something, then mriduvanja chakara, it will stane. Ta stane cha adesha bhavati.
Correct, but you have to, I mean, you are explaining sandhi. I'm not asking that. Give example of a dhatu and this pratyaya and shutva applied. If you have any.
No, offhand I don't.
Okay, no problem. Muralidharaji, you can.
Just sandhi, madam.
Yeah, example. Can you explain?
So in front of first letter of varga, third letter will come, madam. Suppose
Correct.
it is ta, third word da.
Any dhatu you can take and add and tell me?
I don't know, madam. Only that much I know.
No, sandhis you are telling. I am telling what kind of sandhis will come in this context.
Okay.
There are many sandhis. There are hundreds of sandhis, but not that. But what exactly comes in this context of ta? Can anybody explain that?
So consonant sandhis.
Anything related to ta will come. That's obvious, isn't it?
Yes.
Ta is there. Ta is on the right side. Anything on the left side and then ta. So when vowels come on the left side, nothing happens because there is no guna, no vriddhi.
Okay.
Vriddhi is, somebody asked, I mean, Anubhagini asked, what is vriddhi? Vriddhi is a, for a it is a, for e it is I, for u it is au, and for r it is r. So this a, I, au, r are the vriddhis. The letters changing them is. So that's not going to happen. Okay, so directly the vowels are just added. Then what are the possible ending points on the left side? Those things will be changed. They come in contact with the ta. Okay.
Bhagini, shall I try?
Please
Shall I try?
Yeah, please try.
Taking the chid dhatu as an example, there you said nakara or numa gama, you said. So na comes in between cha and da. So chind and latlakare rupaha bhavati chindati. When we add ta pratyaya, I think that when we are adding the ka drops off and ta is there. So takara ta vargasya anunasikaha na. That becomes adesha. So chinnaha it becomes.
Yes, yes, yes. Like that. What are the other possible things? That was the question. Okay.
Oh,
So the dhatu can be many, many kinds. Like gum is there. So gum and ta. What is happening? Then there are other processes coming in between. So that's not a right example. Chid is good example. Then pad. Is it happening with the same? Yes, pad also happening in the same way. Okay. Then okay, we will see the examples they are there. So or anything, my question was very simple one. What kind of sandhis come into play? Then ta related sandhis will come into play. Okay, all ta related will come, whatever this. I'm not very good with the names of sandhis. Please forgive me for that. I'm very lazy with learning names and all.
So,
I am very interested in the processes and steps. Okay. So in that
another example is dhatus ending with sha, murdhanya sha.
Yeah, what happens there?
So instead of a ta, you get a ta.
Okay. Right. And what happens to sha?
Sha remains as sha.
No, sha remains to sha. Sha changes to sha. I'm sorry. Alavya shakara changes to dantya shakara. Sorry, murdhanya shakara. Murdhanya shakara, and then the ta changes to ta. That is it. Okay. Right. Okay. So this is how. Then after that, okay. Now sandhis are we know what sandhis will happen and how, but there are many specific processes happening. This is a very big pratyaya. It's not a small pratyaya. So yeah, Shashireka ji, you want to say something?
Namaste, Mahoday. I just wanted to give another example, that's all. Drush dhatu plus ikta pratyaya will become drushtaha. So here, Strutva sandhi is coming, right?
Yes. True.
Oh.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah.
Dhanyawad.
And what is happening to vach? If there is a vach, what is cha and ta when they come across each other? What is happening?
Vaktaha.
The cha is changing to ka, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is what is happening. Okay. And so on. Okay. There are many other happenings. So these are the like major ones we are discussing. Then we'll go to the next point. What happens is the linga, vachana and vibhaktis of the kta pratyaya word, whatever is coming out. So please mute yourselves later after you speak. Otherwise the sounds keep coming. So these are going to work through the karma. Okay, the karma based the karyam kritam, karyani kritani. So here karyani is in the prathama vibhakti, but it is a karma that we'll come to discuss a little later. So based on that, the lingavachana vibhaktis of krita will be decided. Krita will not be krita all the time, but it will be depending upon whether it is karyam, karye or karyani. If it's karyam, then kritam. If it's karye, then krite. Then karyani, then kritani. Okay, this is how it's going to be. Then when there is an upasarga, what happens? Can anybody tell? Like for example, ktwa. You know when upasarga comes and it becomes liyap. Does something like that happen to kta?
No change.
No change.
Right? No change, right? Everybody convinced with the answer? No change? Sure? Why no change?
Because of the ka in the name of the pratyaya.
No. Upasarga has nothing to do with that. Upasarga, answer is there. If I tell, that will become an answer. What is an upasarga doing?
Has an upasarga, then instead of twa, it will become lep. and ya and
Correct.
root
But
is
because it's twa, I'm
and
asking
if
in context of
short
ta.
vowel, it will become ya. Ya will become tya.
Correct. In the same way, anything happens here?
Namaste. I'm just guessing it will not be a verb.
No. Why not verb? Ta is added to a verb itself. It's a dhatu only, right?
Okay.
Ta is added to a dhatu, and upasarga is also added to a dhatu.
Okay. I tried.
Answer. Okay, I'll give you a clue. The place of that. Where is it added? Where is upasarga added to dhatu? And where is the pratyaya added to dhatu?
Before. Upasarga is before, in front of the dhatu, and pratyaya after the dhatu.
Yes, isn't it? Only ktva and lyap are the only place where upasarga affects the pratyaya. No other place upasarga has anything to do with the pratyaya. The pratyaya is very intolerant when ktva. I says ktva says I don't want to make friendship with upasarga. I am going. I am leaving. That's where lyap comes. Okay, I'll do the service to you. Your meaning I will yield. Ktva and lyap, they are the jodi. They are the what you call as a couple. But here there is nothing like that. All other pratyayas are unaffected by the upasargas. Nothing to do, least bothered. They happen in the left side of the dhatu and pratyayas happen in the right side of the dhatu. That's why no effects. Purely no effect. Okay. That is
No effect.
okay. Clear?
Madam?
Boliye.
Tripta, santripta, atripta, we can say like that?
Yes, we can say.
Okay.
Anything you put left side, it has nothing to do with the right side. It will
Okay,
remain.
Same.
Whatever and ta will decide, upasarga will say, oh, I don't care.
Yes.
Let
Okay,
me
madam.
do my task. Okay.
और आप्त and प्राप्त आप्त
Yes.
आप ये प्र अधिक आप अधिक प्राप्त.
Yes. Same case. Okay, everywhere. Right? Then this point I already explained. Vakyeshu tingantam sthane bhavanti. Tingantanam. So what happens is they play the role. They play the role. Like karyani kritani. Saha karyam karoti. Saha karyam akarot. Saha karyani akarot. Tena karyani kritani. So they are replacing the tinganta. Then how many rupas? This is very interesting thing for me. This is how I look at Sanskrit. This is how I look at a language. This is how I work with them. So something very interesting for me I'm trying to present to you all. So this is what I asked you. How many forms do you find of the ta? So at least 8 forms I found. The ka. Okay. So I just take a book where all the forms are written. Some books like Anuvada, Chandrika, and Rachna Anuvada Kaumudi. So they give the forms. So I refer to the Rachna Anuvada Kaumudi for these. Shush has got the ka. Shush doesn't take ta as it is. Shushta, it will not happen. It will be shushka. Did we ever know before learning kta pratyaya that shushka can be a kta pratyaya? Our mind doesn't go there. We take the word.
Yes.
No,
I never knew this.
Okay. Even I never knew. We don't bother. I mean, okay, it is a complete word for us. We think that shushka has been like that for years, for ages. But it has been formed because of a pratyaya. We don't know. Okay, so such things are there with kta pratyaya is very exciting, very happening, and very energetic pratyaya. Okay. Then the next is ta that we already discussed. Yaj, ishta. Okay, or the drishta, all those. Okay. Then the dha is there. This is very rarely happening with ha ending ones. Saha, soda. But daha becomes dagdha. So again, there is one more. We'll come to that. Then ana. Ana also I didn't know. Purna. Purna was kta pratyaya. I never knew. It is from pra dhatu. It becomes pur before kta is added. It changes to pur. All the r endings change to ur. Okay, and it becomes pur plus ta, pur plus na, purna. Okay. Or I think na also comes. Ta changes to na and then to na, like that. Then the ta is also one form. Like ta is the basic form. I should have put it in the beginning. I thought I'll put it in the alphabetical order. Then dha, jag dha, dag dha, all that. Okay, daha becomes dag dha, ad becomes jag dha. So sometimes the dhatu also changes form. I told you there are numerous procedures like in this. I didn't explain it. What happens is, there happens a samprasaranam. Samprasaranam means ulta of yan. What is yanadesha? Tell me, somebody tell me. What is happening in the yanadesha sandhi? Not sandhi, but what is a yan? Yan processing.
It converts vowel to semi-vowel by adding.
That's a very sthula answer. I want a specific answer.
So, for example, E becomes ya halant,
Right.
and then U becomes va halant, and Re becomes ra halant.
Right, correct. The same thing. Now, samprasaranam is the exact reverse of that. Ya becoming E, va becoming U, ra becoming r. That is samprasaranam. Okay, the exact reverse of yan is samprasaranam. And it happens with almost all the dhatus which contain ya, va, ra somewhere inside them. For example, wherever they are, that place, that particular place becomes this reversal. Okay, place for the reversal. So we should be very careful about the anupurvi, as I have always stressed. So we should know, like for example, swap. Swap becomes sup. Because the sa is as it is, the va is the element which is affected. There is a a above that. We have to do like Bhrata said, va with halant, not just va with the akara. It's not a consonant and vowel combination akshara. It's only consonant sound, that's v. So s, v, a, p is the anupurvi. So we have nothing to do with the rest. We just pull off the va out of that swap. We first divided it to anupurvi, bring out the va, insert a u. What will it become? S, u, p, a. Oh, sorry. S, u, p. So, okay, we are removing va totally. I'm sorry. We are not removing the halanta. Swa, the whole va is gone away. Because u is inserted, then we are working with, or the s and a and then u. I don't know how to take it. I'm not very deep into phonetics in that regard. So what exactly happening? We are pulling out the, in yaj also we are pulling off total ya. If you observe, total ya is pulled out and e is coming. So we take the akara also. Okay, we take the akara also. The complex, the conjunct, the vowel, the consonant and vowel complex we are removing. Okay, the swa, va totally we remove with a and then insert a u, it becomes a sup. Yaj also, ya totally we remove and insert e, and then ij it becomes, for ij we do the kta, then the ta remains ij plus ta, the ja becomes sha. I don't know by which process, there are many processes, and it becomes ishta. Okay, that is how it works. Then one more form is na, lina. Okay, for all this. Some dhatus also get elongated sometimes, like jan dhatu. The ma is dropped. In the gum, nam, man, etc. The ma and na in the end are dropped. And the ta directly comes. So it becomes gata, mata, nata, and all that. Okay, and the second thing is that some dhatus have jan, khan, etc. They have the elongation, jata and khata. But there is also an optional form, janita, khanita, like that, where idagama is happening. Okay, so it is thus, like many other changes are also there. And sometimes the odit, like some dhatus which have o as the it sanya, they will take na directly. Okay. And some have anidit dhatus. Anidit are the idit. Idits are like where na is removed, na is added to them. But anidits are where the na is natural inside the dhatu. You know that natural na is dropped. Okay. Bandh is one example where it becomes baddha. Okay. When there is a rada, ra and da in the dhatu, then the kta and ktavatu both will take na. So when it is after the repha, it will become na. When it is dakara, it becomes na. Like klid will take na. That's why chid is taking na. Because of the da endingness, that is taking na. So and so on and so forth. There are many, many rules which are not of very much interest to us. We are not here to discuss the things, but just these are the possible places where it can be a kta pratyaya. Okay. So the kta pratyaya can appear in so many forms, as many as 8 forms. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 forms. Okay. Now, I think one more is there. Oh my. Va is dropped. I have one more to tell you. Va, pach, pakwa. Okay. Pach, pakwa. There is one more form of ta. Pakta, I thought it's pakwa. Okay. Like that. Now, we will go to vakya level. Okay. Let us go to a vakya level. Vakya is a sentence. Okay. Like a karmani prayoga, there are many rules regarding karmani prayoga. Okay. One of them is the vibhakti change in the sentence. Okay. Here the vakya niyamas are according to the karmani prayoga. All whatever happens in the karmani will happen in this also. So instead of that karmani rupam, we are using a kta rupam. I don't know why this book has chosen to introduce kta first and not karmani prayoga. I'm not sure why it happened, because karmani is a different concept. I don't think we have discussed karmani till now. We had all other this thing. Let me just check with the index if I'm wrong.
Next is voices.
Yeah, prayogaha is the next chapter. So I like, I was thinking I missed it, but yes, prayogaha is in the next chapter, 15th one. So karmani concept we should be aware of before we learn about kta pratyas. I don't know why they choose this order. They must have some reason of, they must have thought over that. And okay. Yeah. So then sakarmaka dhatu, okay, we'll have it in the karma vachya. So what is the difference between karma vachya and bhava vachya? You know, bhava vachya will have always one singular form. Karma vachya will have many forms. Bhava vachya will have only one form. Okay. Karmani prathama. So these the vibhaktis. Please remember this order. The karma word, but the word which contains karma will always be in prathama vibhakti, the first case. The trutiya will be taken by the kartari. The karta, which has been in prathama, in the kartari prayoga, will become tritiya in the karmani prayoga. So by the tritiya, we will identify karta and not by prathama, because prathama is taken over by karmani. Then the kriya will take the linga and vachana. Okay, it also takes linga because kridanta is a shabda, and you know it has linga, that is running according to the karma. Saha karyam akarot tena karyam kritam. Saha karyani akarot tena karyani kritani. Like that. So karma anusari linga vachanam. Because karyani is bahuvachana, kritani is a bahuvachana. Okay. So what happens to akarmaka dhatus when kta is added? The karta is in Tritiya as usual. There is no karma to put in the Prathama. So Kriya will take in the Ekavachana Kliba form only. Okay. Like that. This is the simple rule. All the Karmaka Dhatus will follow this. Okay. Tena Shayitam. That's all. Tena Shayitam. Maya Shayitam. Asmabhihi Shayitam. I can't say Asmabhihi Shayitani. I cannot say Taihi Shayitani. There is no Shayitani. Okay. Shing Swapne Dhatu is for to sleep. Sleep what? We don't have any answer. We don't sleep anything. We just sleep. That's all. Okay. And if you say bed, then bed is on. It will be Adhikarana. So there is no karma for sleep. If I walk, there is no karma. So Tena Chalitam, Maya Chalitam, Tvaya Chalitam, Taihi Chalitam, Asmabhihi Chalitam, Yushmabhihi Chalitam. So the Tritiya will be indicating the karta, and the Kridanta form, that is the Kta ending form, will be always singular Napunsaka form, like the same Bhavavachya karma, Bhavavachya Kriya Prayoga. In that also we see there is only one Te form, Kriyate, like that. Okay, so Chalyate, like that. Okay, right, like that. So no, I don't know how it becomes Shayyate or something. It must have been become. I don't know. Okay, like that. So in the Vakya, again we will see what are the niyamas more. Kta is also in the Kartruvachyepi. Okay, sometimes Kta is a little cheating. You have taught us that it is karma. Why are you coming in Karta? We cannot ask that. Okay. The karta, the kta says, I am tired of giving all the karma. I want to also represent karta. Then we say, oh, why? How come? How can you do that? And he says, I'll choose some dhatus and I'll give some money to that and I'll become karta. Okay, let's do that. Now, in some cases it happens. Let us see for what. First are the gatyarthakas. That is why whenever you, for example, you get gata first. Gam is a very common dhatu. But try to construct a sentence with gam to explain the past passive effect of the participle. You won't get it. Okay. So, Gramam gataha praptaha. So, it will be karta only. Ramaha gataha. Ramaha gramam gataha. So, it's almost like a karta. It's a karta. It's not karma. Akarmaka dhatus like bhutaha, sa bhutaha. Okay. Then some dhatus like akarmaka dhatus are also like karta indicating. Some dhatus like shlish, shi, stha, as, as, vas, jan, rudjr are also in karta like vriksham arudha. Okay, so it is taking karma and it is saha vriksham arudha. So arudha is a person who is doing it, who is climbing. Okay, so he is a climber. It's not climbed. Vrikshaha arudhaha nasti. Vriksham arudhaha. If you say vriksham arudhaha, then vriksham should have been napunsaka to be a karta. But here you see vriksham, which is karma dvitya vibhakti, because vriksha is a pumlinga. That's why vriksham is karma. It's a dvitya vibhakti, not prathama. Okay. For example, there is a phalam. There is a pipilika which has got over a phalam. Phalam arudhaha. Phalam arudhaha. Then pipilika phalam arudhaha. So pipilikaha, pipilakaha, phalam arudhaha. So that will be the answer. So phalam, we will have a doubt. Oh, phalam is a karta or a karma in that. So phalam is a karma there. Okay, so please don't be confused. Then, so kartari prathama and karmani dvitiya in this case, right? For these, for some takta also like it's okay. We say okay, you ditch in the karma and karta. We will adjust. Okay, so many just gatyarthakas, akarmaka dhatus, and this list of dhatus. We have only 3 places. We have one overview. What's there? Now it says, I'll also come in Vartamana Kala. What will you do? He said. What he says? I'll also come in Vartamana Kala. Hey, we say you said you will come in the past tense. You have to come in the Bhuta Kala. What are you doing? And he said, no, nothing doing. I also want to enjoy that. I'll give you a taste of how powerful I am. So just see. Huh? So, okay, come what may. Huh? I'll do this, he says. Now he says that with these dhatus, man, budh and puj, and all that arthakas, whatever those dhatus arthakas are there. And then like the examples are Rajnyam Mataha, Buddhaha, Pujitaha, and all that. So right now it is happening Vartamana Kala. And there is a Shashti also with that, okay, in that. And then like Rajnyam is the Shashti, okay. Napumsakalinga Bhavavachaka Samya also it happens. Jalpitam, Shaitam, Hasitam, Ityadi. They are always like Ekavachana. Some words they don't have. Though it is capable of producing the other forms, it's not happening because of probably the akarmakatva in them. Okay. So here we see the forms. I want one of you to read this table and like one table, please read the Pumlinga table, then somebody read Strilinga, and then I'll call name for that. Nataraja Brata. You can read the Pumlinga. Only this much you can read. No need to read.
Ram. Gatah, Gatau, Gatah, Gatam, Gatau, Gatan, Gatena, Gatabhyam, Gataihi, Gataya, Gatabhyam, Gatebhyah, Gatat, Gatabhyam, Gatebhyah, Gatasya, Gatayoh, Gatanam, Gate, Gatayoh, Gateshu.
Right. Good. Nice. And the second one I will call Annapurna Bhagini. Could you please read?
Ram Bhagini.
Yeah.
And Strilinga Padas.
Yes.
Gata, Gate, Gataha, Gatam, Gate, Gataha, Gataya, Gatabhyam, Gatabhihi, Gatayai, Gatabhyam, Gatabhyaha, Gatayaha, Gatabhyam, Gatabhyaha, Gatayaha, Gatayohu, Gatanam, Gatayam, Gatayohu, Gatasu.
Okay, so it's same like Rama, right? And then the Napumsakalingas Gatam Gate Gatani, Gatam Gate Gatani. So can you tell some examples regarding this? I mean, can somebody try? I didn't cover examples in this. I just put these. So just add one more noun word. Okay. One more thing we missed. They act like Visheshanas. These act also like Visheshanas. I really missed that point. Okay. So it acts like a Tinganta only when it is in the first Pratama Vibhakti. Do you observe that? Gataha, Ramaha Vanam Gataha. Only there it is replacing. Now I say Gatam Ramam Pashyati Dasharathaha. Okay. So he's just watching that side where Rama went. Rama is no more there, but Dasharatha is watching the same side because he leaves his prana watching the same side. Okay. So Gatam Ramam. There you don't find the Kriyatva in that. So in all the other Vibhaktis, it is acting like a Visheshana.
Okay.
Now,
Can you say Vanam Gataha Ramaha?
yes, we can say.
Vanam. Okay.
The placement is not important because the words written, it's an inflectional language. Sanskrit is an inflectional language. So the place doesn't matter. Wherever you put, it will mean the same. So Gatam Ramam Pashyati Dasharatha. Gatena Ramena Saha Agachat Lakshmanaha. Okay. So Rama went and along with him Lakshmana also went. Gataya Ramaya Kupyati. Okay, somebody like Kaikeyi, Gataya Ramaya Kupyati. She's like, He wants to make sure he doesn't come back or something. Gataya Ramaya. That's one example. Then Gatat Ramat. Gatat Ramat Nirgachati Sumantra. Sumantra just, when he went there, he just dropped him and came back. Okay, Gatat Ramat. He is coming back from Rama who went away. Like that the meaning comes out. So Gatasya Ramasya Kodandaha Asti. Someone who went away, that Rama has got a Kodanda. Okay, then Gate Rame Ayodhya Shunya. So because Rama has went away, after he went away, Ayodhya is all become Shunya. Like that, we can use it as a Visheshana, where it will qualify some noun. Okay, it's almost Kta Pratyaya is mostly used as a Visheshana. And it has that again, Yallingam Yadvachanam Yacha Vibhaktir Visheshyasya Tallingam Tadvachanam Sacha Vibhaktir Visheshanasyapi. So here the Kridantasyapi we have to put. And that is no more a Visheshya but a Namapadam. Namapadam that is qualified by a Kridanta. Okay, so this is a very important concept of the Kta Pratyaya which we were about to miss, but luckily we covered it. In the same way, you can try to construct some sentence of your idea with all the other Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam, Strilingas, Napumsakalingas, so that you will take one dhatu. No need to take 10 dhatus. Take one dhatu. One anything which you like, the krita, gata, klinna, okay, chinna, bhinna, anything like drishta, anything you can take. And write few sentences, like each form, like 21 sentences will be formed if we drop out the Sambodhana as a separate form. So there will be 21 sentences for each linga. Okay, you can try to construct them and try to see the taste of Kta. Okay, if you taste Kta, then it will give you a complete feeling. And this is the way you do it, by writing sentences, by thinking about the different possible combinations.
Bhagini? एकवाक्यं शुद्धं वा एतत् वाक्यं गतस्य रामस्य स्मरणात् दशरथः मूर्छितः.
Yes, there is nothing wrong in that.
Okay, so first gatasya will become visheshana and dasharatha murchitaha will be ordinary kta pratyaya.
There the kta pratyaya will work as a tinganta because it's murchitaha. Okay. It's in pratama vibhakti, that's why it is going to replace the ting. Okay.
Do we need to add murchitaha abhavat or no need?
No need, no need.
Okay, okay.
Bhavanti paraha aprayujyamanopi asti. So even when it is there,
Bhagini.
asti bhavati is there also.
Dhanyawad.
You know, Sanskrit sentences are balanced, they are poised, they don't need a support of all that. It's complete, like Gataha, Murchita, complete, idea is done. Mamanama Usha, complete. Mamanama Usha Asti, Mamanama Usha Iti. I don't need to say all that. It's like no supports, like what building is newly built, we don't put all the supports, which is about to fall down, we'll put some that constructions and we'll try to rebuild it. It's like that. Okay. So abhavat, asit, asti, bhavati. We did not add to every sentence. It's complete. Okay, so with this we complete our lesson and I'm going to give you a small revision of what all we did today. Today we began with the Kta Pratyaya, understanding it. So it gives out a Subanta, it's added to Dhatus, there are no Dhatu Ganas, and it is in the like Akaranta Pratipadika is formed. They are Bhutakala Arthakas and they'll get all the 7 + 1 into 3 into 3 forms. And then it's Karmavachya, Bhavavachya, it's called past passive participle. The it agama also we discussed. Then there is no guna or vriddhi of the dhatu. There are sandhi karyas happening. We discussed sandhis in detail. Okay. And then the upasargas dhatus also we discussed that point. Then tingantanam sthane prathama vibhaktau bhavati, that it should be added. Tingantanam sthane. And then the ta is seen in 8 forms. I missed one here. I'll add it. It's va. Okay. pakva, pach plus va. Please write it in your notes if you have written down these points. So the ka, ta, dha, na, ta, dha, na, and va are the 8 forms that we see the kta pratyaya. And in the vakya niyamas are almost like the karmani prayoga niyamas. Now karmani will be a little easier for you with the same principles. The karma takes the prathama, the karta takes the tritiya, and the linga, vachana, etc. are according to the karma. Then akarmaka dhatu also will have the kta, but it has no karma, so that's why kartari tritiya, and the kriya is always ekavachana. Okay, and some are like changed forms of the kta. Some are in the, instead of karma vachya, it will be kartruvachya. They are these 3 areas, and then some places it comes only vartamana kala. Okay, and some places it is always a singular form. Okay, so these all we discussed. Then we discuss the forms, and then we discuss the examples with these. So you can just try to write some sentences coining, like Bhagini has coined one sentence with Gatasya Ramasya Smaranat, like that. Okay, or you can take Gata Sita. Okay, all these we can take Gata Savitri. Savitri also went with her husband, isn't it, to the forest. So you can write that story also. Take something as an alambana and write a sentence. Okay, take some Puranic episode and then you can just add. Yeah, if any doubts, you can raise your hands and unmute it.
Madam, I must admit very frankly that, since few days I'm not able to understand because I'm finding it difficult. Maybe I don't have background. For example, today this new form said Gata, Gato, Gata. What is meant by Gata name means, of course, it is Chitra Pratyaya, but Gata, Gato, Gata, which is in the name form. Gata means what actually?
You tell what you understand from it. I told that it is like active. It's not passive, but it's active. You can take krita instead of gata. You can take krita because gata is a wrong example. Kr dhatu and kta is added in the sense of bhutakala. Okay, and passive. Okay, karmani. Bhutakala, karmani, kriya pada.
Bhutakala I understand, but this it has become name, pulling, stealing. So that's what I'm not understanding. What does it mean?
So that's what I have given example, like tena karyam kritam. Okay, one thing we'll take. Tena pustakam patitam. Okay, this saha pustakam patati. Okay, saha is this is kartari. Saha is he. Pustakam is saha is karta. Pustakam is karta. Patati is kriya. This is a normal sentence. If we want to say the same thing in the kta form, then we say tena pustakam patitam. Pustakam patitam. Okay, so that means the pustaka is read by him.
Yeah.
A read one. Okay, something which is read already. So there is a bhutakala in that. Okay, there is a past tense in that. And pustakam is singular, isn't it? That's why patitam is singular.
Correct,
now the
correct.
fellow reads another book. Now we'll say tena pustake patite. So there are two read by him, which is shown by the patite. Pustake patite. Okay. Then if that fellow picks another book and completes it, or several books more, then we'll say tena pustakani patitani. Okay, so the action is done, bhutakala, and then there is a karmani, that is a passive sense. Okay, the book is read by me. Okay, like that. Okay, it's a passive sense. Okay. It is changing according to the karma. Now you see pustakam, pustake, pustakani. In the same place, I use grantha. You tell the sentence with grantha. Tena grantha. A book is read by him. So what will become grantha? How will the pat go with that? Any guesses?
Tena grantha patita I understand, but this form of gata.
Complete the sentence first. No. Please forget gata, because gata will not give you an idea. As I already explained, it is in the active, not in the passive. So please try to complete this sentence first. Tena grantha. Tena pustakam patitam. Tena grantha patitah. Tena grantha
patita.
patitah.
Yeah.
How?
This grantha is a plural, so patita becomes the form.
And one more thing is there. It's in the Pullinga, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pustakam is in Kliba, but grantha is in Pullinga.
Correct.
Yeah, that's why it will go according to that. So karma anusrutya means that thing. Okay. Tena pustakam patitam, tena granthaha patitaha, tena pustakani patitani, tena granthaha patitaha. Okay. Ramena Sita Drishta. Ramena Sita Drishta, because Sita is Srilinga and Drishta will go according to the Sita. Okay. Sakhi bhihi Ramaha Drishtaha. But Sakhis are many. They are seeing, but they are seeing one Rama. So Ramaha Drishtaha. Like that construction is. Now coming to Gataha. Gataha is an active. Gam dhatu will take active kta. It will not take passive kta. Okay. So that's why Ramaha Gataha means just Ramaha went. That's all. Okay. Rama became the one who went. Like that the meaning comes. Simply Rama went. Okay. It's not.
If I say aham vanam gataha, is it okay?
Yes. If you are a Pumlinga, then aham vanam gata is okay.
Aham vanam gata is okay.
If I'll go to a forest, I'll say aham vanam gata. Like that. It's almost like gatavan, gatavati. The ktavatu is there. We'll enter that in the next class. I thought I can do it today, but it doesn't seem so possible. So gatavan, gatavati, like that only gataha, gata or that. So that's why you cannot explain with gata. There you will fail. So take krita instead. Okay, krita will or drishta will give you that sense of past passive participle.
Yeah.
Is your doubt clear?
So yeah, it is fairly clear. Now I want to know only one thing, that whatever you are saying, krita, krito, krita, gata, gata, are they nouns or are they verb forms?
Please tell me what it is. I explained this point.
Yeah, I feel it is verb form only, verb form.
Yes, it is a verb when it is prathama vibhakti. Karyam kritam, until there. Okay. So now I say kritena karyena.
Yeah. No, I understand. Actually, I was confused that it has become noun. I understood like that.
It's a noun. Actually, it's a noun. Actually, kritam is a noun. And it is acting as a verb in the sentence when it is in the prathama vibhakti. And then when it is in the ditiyadi vibhaktis, it is becoming a visheshana. Do you see? It's like a noun. It's not a noun, but it's acting like a noun sometimes. It's acting like a kriya sometimes. When in prathama vibhakti. In all other vibhaktis, it becomes a visheshana.
Maya pustakam patitam. Patitam is verb only. It is not a noun form, no?
But patitani, pustakani, patitan. Then why is it changing according to pustakani?
Yeah, that is a Vyakarana rule. So
it is a noun by grammar, but it is working as a verb. I told in the very beginning about this. Okay. So it is a noun. That's what is about the Kridanta. The magic of Kridanta is there. The magic is that it's showed as a linga vachana form of in a shabda form, noun form. But it is acting like a verb in a sentence. I said it replaces the tinganta sometimes when in prathama vibhakti.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice that you raised this point. We had discussed not the meaning. I thought
I was afraid because Miss 2 classes are here in last month. So I wasn't following, but still I should ask. That's why I asked.
No, please, anytime. As I told you, I keep you all unmute only. I never want you to wait till the end to ask your doubt. You don't follow all the class, then the class will have no meaning at all. Every one of you is expected to raise hands and ask questions. Stop me in between. But let me complete one concept and then you can ask. Before we go to the next concept, then you can ask.
Thank you.
Just wait until I complete a concept so that if your doubt is cleared within that, that's okay. But by the end, then you can ask. Otherwise, I'll forget what what I was about to tell. That's one small request. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. I just scroll for the next point.
Yeah, I was hesitating that I mean, disturb your class or disturb those students. That's why I was hesitating.
I told this in the very first beginning classes only. I told. I want this to be interactive. I want this to be very active. Like you can stop me in between when we are discussing sentences. You can stop me anywhere. When I'm explaining a concept, there I need some time to complete my concept and then I can take doubts before I go to the next point. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Everyone, I'm like, this is my stance. Please don't worry about my this thing. It's for you. It's for you. Your satisfaction and your understanding is utmost importance to me as a teacher. Your understanding is only value to this class. My explaining like touching the skies is of no use until like you are not able to fly with me. We all should fly together. It's about all of us flying. It's not about my flight. Okay.
Dhanyavad.
Along with you, I also learn, though I know these concepts, but when I explain, I know more points, I know more areas. That's why I really acknowledge this. I mean, I understand and I'm thankful for these classes myself also. I also get a lot of things to clear. I am learning and I'm teaching at the same time. Some part I'm learning and mostly I teach from what I know. Okay. So it's like a give and take. No problem. Please be free to ask doubts. Never.
Thank you.
Astu. Any more doubts from anyone?
Bhagini, just that Ramaha vanam gataha kartari prayoge bhavati kila tat vakyam vayam Ramena vanam gatam ityapi lekitum shakyate va?
Lekitum shaknumaha va.
Oh, shaknumaha, sorry.
Vayam shaknumaha.
Vayam shaknumaha va?
Vayam ahamapi chintayam. That's what I was also thinking. Whether is it possible tena vanam gatam, shall we say or not? I'm not very clear with that. I have to check that. It is not appearing to my sense. I can come out. If you have anything to offer, you can tell. I don't know if it is only in active always or passive also can be used sometimes.
Okay, I'll also check some book. Dhanyavad.
Shyamala Bhagini, you can ask your doubt. Annapurna Bhagini, you have something to ask?
Ram Bhagini. ఒక్కసారి మా మనవరాలు మీకు రామ్ భగని చెప్తాను.
ఓ అయ్యో
చెప్పు.
Ram. Just her granddaughter wanted to say Ram to me. That's all she told in Telugu. Thank you.
ప్రతిరోజు క్లాస్ లో నువ్వు ఉన్నప్పుడల్లా నేను చెప్తానంటుంది. ఇంక ఇవాళ చెప్తామని మీ పర్మిషన్ అడిగాను అనమాట.
Blessings to her.
ధన్యవాదాः. చెప్పు.
Shyamala Bhagini, you can ask your doubt.
Hari Om Bhagini, the same doubt I have. Ramena Vidyalaya Gataha, Ramena Shala Gata, Ramena Vanam Gatam. Is this okay?
Yeah, it seems to be okay. Yeah, I think we can take Ramena Vanam Gatam, Vidyalaya Gata. That's what. It is there or not possible with Gami is only taking active or it also takes, it is also inactive. That I have to check and I'll come back. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Is Karmani Prayoga of Tavatu. Hello.
Kta and Ktavatu both, but Ktavatu we could not cover. Ktavatu is active participle.
Active.
Active. It's
the same thing in Karmani, it is Ta.
Karmani, it is Kta, and in Kartari, it is Ktavatu.
Yeah.
But forms are very similar. You have nothing to work in Ktavatu. Just to say, take ta and put ktavatu. That we'll discuss in the next class. Okay.
ధన్యవాదం.
हरि ओम भगिनी.
हरि अस्तु तर्हि शुभमस्तु.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः. धन्यवादः.
प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. धन्यवादः. शुभमस्तु.
నా పేరు వేద.
ఓ వేద, శుభమస్తు వేద. శుభం.